I'm Panthala Selvan from Pressman Group. I'm happy to introduce our new vertical, Pressman Center for Print Excellence. This is a learn by doing center. We have a state-of-art 5-color Mitsubishi offset printing machine and a programmable cutting machine. And we are conducting 3-week program called Offset Print Process, Technology and Management. It's an 80% practical and 20% theory program, and I strongly recommend all those freshers who are entering into printing business or assistant printers or anybody who are offering technical sales and support for press consumables or softwares, and those people who want to enter into printing industry from some other streams like mechanical or contact us, and we'll be able to do a 3-week program for you.
Working as an assistant operator in printing industry, which company called Printcare Universal Sri Lanka. We do machine practicals. When some visits, we learn lots of things from here. Actually, we expect some solutions for printing problems we are mostly facing through this program. I think it's all fulfilled.
Mr. Selvam sir යටතේ ඉගෙනගත් දැනුම සර් ඇත්තටම රටවල් ගණනාවට ගිහිල්ලා
நான் வந்து பிரிண்டிங் கன்சூமபிள்ஸ் டீலராக இருக்கோம் சென்னையில் லக்ஷ்மி ஸ்க்ரீன் சப்ளைஸ்னு. சரி, அப்பாவோட பிஸ்னஸை டேக் ஓவர் பண்ணுறதுனால நான் வந்து பிரிண்டிங் பற்றி நிறைய கற்றுக்கணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டேன். அப்போது அப்பா வந்து ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணாங்க ப்ரெஸ்மேன் போய் கற்றுக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. ஸோ பந்தல செல்வன் சாரை காண்டாக்ட் பண்ணி நான் இங்கே வந்தேன். ஸ்டார்டிங்கில் நான் வந்து நிறைய எல்லாமே இங்கே எனக்கு புதுசாக தான் இருந்துச்சு. இதுக்கப்புறம் நான் வந்து ஃபீல்டில் போய் ப்ராப்ளம் சால்விங்கோ இல்லை இங்கு பற்றி ஏதாச்சும் பிரச்சனையோ அட்டன் பண்ணும்போது எனக்கு ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
This is actually good institute for which who studying about the printing field, and I recommend this. This is a good institute. Thank you, Pressman. මෙච්චර ලොකු දැනුමක් අපිට ලබා දුන්නට ප්‍රශ්නයන් ඉන්ස්ටිටියුට් එකට මම දෙහිමින් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා.
Okay. To say thank you for everything. Thank you, Pressman.
என்னோட இங்கு கிச்சன் டெவலப் பண்ணுறதுக்கு, என்னோட பிஸ்னஸ் டெவலப் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ரொம்ப ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். தேங்க்யூ ப்ரெஸ்மேன்.
You can come to our Center for Print Excellence and learn the entire offset print process in 3 weeks. Thank you so much.
I hope you all liked the letter pad that we gave you today morning, personalized one. I'm not sure how many of you really opened and checked inside, because your names were also is there as a micro text. I hope you liked it. So my today's session is about downtime. How are we going to eliminate the downtime in our factory, in each process, in each department, and in the entire factory? Okay. So in this session, I'm going to take you through certain agenda, like I'm going to give you a small introduction, and then the process sections, the resources, and the DMAIC from Six Sigma, and some audit scoring procedures, downtime analysis, maybe if time permits, a mock audit and the conclusion. So let's start with a small story, since you all look little drowsy. We all heard about a crow, a smart crow in our childhood. We heard about a story of a smart crow which was very thirsty, and it found a pot with half filled water. So it collected some pebbles and started dropping the pebbles inside the jug. The water level raised, crow drank the water and flew away, right? Now, just in case if I put a new scenario, ifs and buts. Just in case if the pot has certain leakages and the crow was busy putting the stone inside, and as the water was rising up, all the water got leaked. And the entire pot filled with all the stones, and later it realized all the water has gone out. So what will the crow do now, that smart crow? Since we all know that crow is a smart crow, it will definitely fly away looking for a new water resource. Now let us put ourselves into that same scenario, that we are the crow trying to manage our business. So what, as a businessman, what we are doing, we are trying to collect a lot of resources, put into our pot, with the expectation that the water will come up. Here the terminology I am saying water is nothing but your productivity and your profitability. And what are the resources, that stones that we are going to put inside? Is that your men, the people who are running your show, the materials that you buy, the process they do, the machineries, the QC process, measurements? So these are the various resources as a businessman we try to put into the pot, expecting the water to come up. But what are the problems that printers we are facing now? High market competition. Your raw material prices are going up, but selling price is never going up. It is stagnant. Your profitability has gone down. The manpower, they are not very stable. They keep shifting their jobs. The market looks unstable in certain areas. With so much of difficulties for each business people, how are they able to make the profits? So here, in case if there are certain leakages in our pot, what is going to be our scenario? How are we going to achieve the productivity and profitability? So in this session, I am going to take you through three sections. One is the pot, which is your business. Then the leakages, where our efficiency is going out. And third, the resources. So in the first section, I will take you through the leakages. What is the kind of leakages that we have? In business point of view, we call that as a wastage, waste. I am not a lean expert or a Six Sigma expert, but I accept that bits and pieces, I took some concepts here and there, collectively put together to build up this small auditing procedure. And it's not something that I invented myself. I just collected certain principles and process from various areas that we can adopt into our printing business. So generally in every printing companies or any production environment, if you want to increase your productivity, there are two kind of approaches. Either you do a quality approach, qualitative basic approach, another is a quantitative. In a quantitative, what do? You try to add your machine capacity or add more people, try to increase your productivity. In other way, in a qualitative approach, you try to reduce your waste and protect your profit. This is another way of increasing your productivity. Now when it comes to your protecting your profit, so in case if you want to add, if you want to have more profit, what we do? You increase your selling price. By that way you can have more profit. But in printing, generally our customers comes to us with a price. They never ask a quotation. They tell this is the price and you tell me how much lesser than this you can offer. If a carton he is buying at 4 rupees, he will tell I am buying at 4 rupees. How much less you can provide? He doesn't ask a quotation. He gives a price and we have to fix it into that gamut. So what we have to do, the other approach is where you keep the sales price same, at the same time reduce your waste and try to increase your profit level by reducing your waste. So both these concepts are talking in, just arriving into one common point of reducing your waste. And what is that waste we are talking about? And today your company is in one position and you want to take, in future you want to take your company to next level and you want to have a smooth flow. The best way is to identify your waste and eliminate your waste and make sure your process flows smoothly so that your customer gets the value out of it. So according to lean concept, waste means anything that you do in a process during a production that doesn't add any value according to the customer perspective. I would like to talk about few waste that we never, or I would say that we ignore. In one point of view, I can say that I'm also a printer, I have a printing machine, we also do certain small jobs. So as a printer's point of view, what are those small waste or important waste that we actually ignore? One is defect. Defect is either by a machine or a person, any kind of defects that happens in our process or in the product. Second is the overproduction. Customer asks for 1,000 pieces in copies and we know that he is going to buy every month. Keeping something in mind, we produce 2,000 or 3,000 and expecting that when he places order, we'll deliver it. There are many areas we do overproduction. It's not just the printing, it can be pre-press activity. It can be designing activity, it can be anything, doing an overproduction. Next is the waiting. Is your machine or a person waiting for approval? Is your machine waiting for paper? Is your machine waiting for the plate? Somebody has to come approve the colors. Is there any waiting? Is there any waiting in any of their processes? Then that is a kind of waste. Next is non-utilized talent. You have a person untrained and he has been given a job where he is not trained and he doesn't know how to do it, or you have some talented person who is doing something else. That is another form of waste. Next is the transportation. Movement of material inside the factory here and there during the production. That is another form of waste. Next is inventory. I think I'll stand in the one corner so you can click your pictures. So next is your inventory. Are you keeping the product, either your printed materials or raw materials more than what you need? That is another form of waste. For example, let us take your spot colors. One job came, you printed some quantity, you kept the leftover ink in your store. The job changed, color changed, and that ink will remain in your ink store. Many of your packaging printers, you should go back to your ink store and check how old is your inks. There must be 2-year-old spot color inks, 3-year-old spot color inks, and then complaining that your store doesn't have a sufficient place to keep material. And next is motion. Is your person moving around here and there for completing a job? For example, you have one spectro in ink kitchen, or only one spectro. The person has to carry the spectro to the ink kitchen, check the color. That time the machine will be waiting here. Then again they have to bring the spectro to this place. So there will be a lot of motion of these people moving around here and to do all the jobs, and you waste a lot of time and resource in that. So these are the next one is extra processing. Like for example, you do a file checking in a pre-press. You just need to do a 5 checklist, like 5 points you need to check in a file, and you check 10 points. You are checking certain points which is not relevant. You are doing certain process which is not relevant to the process or to the product. Are you over processing? So these are the 8 different type of waste ignored by most of the printers. Do you agree to this? Yes or no? So this 8 waste is called as downtime. So you can remember the terminology downtime. D for defect, O for overproduction, W for waiting, N for non-utilized talent, T for transport, I for inventory, M for motion, and E for extra processing. So this is a lean concept, a lean way of identifying waste in a production environment. So this is the area where we lose our profit. This is the area where we lose our resources. This is the area where we lose our materials. This is the area where we lose the efficiency of our production missions. So now, like since I just wanted to correlate, the earlier two methodology which I was mentioning, increasing the productivity, increasing the profit, both the methodology is suggesting the same concept of reducing your waste. Now let's talk about the pot, the leaking pot. To a business person, this is how we see our pot, am I right? Our business. So when we enter into your printing business or in your factory, this is the way of workflow you have built, and majority of the companies you don't even have a workflow. Just in case, let's assume you have a workflow like this. Should I consider the entire workflow as one pot? Shall I? Shall I consider the entire workflow as one pot? Now when I go into your workflows, I am identifying one section, pre-press, because in entire company you have so many departments. So I cannot do the evaluation of this downtime for the entire factory. So let us take one department at a time. Am I right? So let us take one department, pre-press. So I will consider one pot, my pre-press as one pot. Shall we do the evaluation of your pre-press? I am getting into your pre-press. Now your pre-press is having a list of activities. Right from receiving your file, then having a backup, and then do a pre-flighting, editing the file, proofing, then step and repeat. You have a lot of process in the pre-press itself. Then what should I do now? I cannot consider your pre-press as one pot. Fine, because the entire pre-press is having a lot of pots. So what I am going to do now, in entire pre-press I am going to select one activity, one process as one pot. Now I have selected one section called plate quality management. Now you must be wondering why plate quality management? Because 98% of the printers do not have a plate reader to check the quality of their plate. 95% of the plate makers, CTP bureaus, do not have a plate reader. 1% excess dot in your plate can lead to a 3 to 4% more dots in your print. But who bothers? Nobody checks the plate quality. How many of the plates, printers do check the plates which is coming from the CTP bureaus? Whatever it comes, it goes to the machine. So this is one section which has been completely ignored, which is having a direct link to your print quality. So I am taking that section for you. So let us analyze how your plate quality management system works. So I am considering that one activity as my one pot. So my business is not one pot, my business is a collection of pots. I have to make sure all the pots are leak free. Am I right? Am I putting all in a sleeping mode? Okay. So let us take the plate quality management as my one pot, and let us assume what are the resources that I am going to put to manage my plate quality. Your men, your machine, your material, method and measurement. These are the major elements, resources which is going to manage your one activity. Now I am going to steal some information or a principle from Six Sigma. So do not raise a case against me for stealing this concept. In Six Sigma, there is a methodology called define, measure, analyze, improve and control. DMAIC. So let's see how to use Six Sigma concept into our analyzing system. Now let us do a little audit of your plate quality management system. Okay. Now in this audit, if you are perfectly correct, perfectly all right, I will consider that as a leak free, which is called compliant. And there is a second section. In fact, I should say there is only two choices. Either the pot is good, leak free, or it is leaking. In fact, I should not give a middle stage. But I am soft-hearted person, so I am giving you another class in between. That is called minor defect, minor leakage, which you can quickly correct. Okay. So if there is a minor leakage, I will consider as a minor defect, and you can have a score of 1. And if it is a major defect, that means if you don't have it, it's a problematic. That means if it's an emergency, that means I would consider that as a critical major defect, and I'll give a 0 score. Now, in the entire audit, if you are able to score more than 80%, then you can consider that your department, that specific process is absolutely leak free. It's really good. If it is less than 80%, between 70% to 80%, please go and pay attention to that. If it is less than 70%, please go and sit there and see what best you can do on to make it leak free. So in the DMIC process, the first thing says define. You cannot just go into the pre-press department and start asking questions. Before asking questions, you have to define what is expected from them, right? You have to define what you want. So what I'm going to do here is, for men, I'm going to define what I want from them in terms of skill and training, knowledge. So I'll just repeat this first point because that is what I need. That is, for the operator capability for the plate reader is well communicated, demonstrated following approved facility SOP. That the person is having sufficient skill to operate a plate reader and check the quality of the plate. If it is there, then you get 2 marks. If you're having a plate reader, but he is not able to measure properly and explain properly, or he is neither understanding the SOP, then I'll give you 1 mark. If you say I don't have a plate reader, I don't have a SOP, then it is a critical, then I will give you 0 mark. Okay? Now you can, if you have a notepad, that would personalized notepad, you can give a score for yourself where you stand. If you want, you can give a score for yourself. And for training, if you have ever done any training program for your plate makers, your pre-press persons or plate maker to check the quality of the plate, if they are well trained, 2 marks. There was no training given to them related to plate quality, then give a 0 mark. Next is for the machine. You have maybe even a densitometer can check the plates. If you have an instrument and you have no idea when it was calibrated, when it was cleaned, when it was maintained, there is no proper SOP for all that, then I would consider to give you a 0 mark. But if you say, my device is calibrated every year, it is maintained, whether I use it or not, that is secondary, but I calibrate it and keep it safely. So if your equipment is in a good condition, then I would give you 2 marks. Okay. Next is your material, your plates and chemicals. If you say that I am using 2 different brands of plate in one chemical, or my operator keeps meddling with the processor settings to adjust the variation because of the chemicals. If you don't have the MSDS and TDS of a plate chemical, sometimes our people even don't know what plates and chemicals they buy, then I would consider a 0 mark. And if you have all the TDS, you have MSDS, you have defined this is the plate, this is the chemical, this is the processing condition, everything is being properly defined, then I would ask you to give you 2 marks. And even for material, there is a proper procedure for handling, storage, how to care. If it is all maintained, then you can give 2 marks for that. Next is your method. I have a plate reader. I measure the plate every day and I monitor my plate dots as per the SOP and I maintain within the tolerance as per SOP, 2 marks. I measure the plate once in a while. If there is a problem, I correct, 1 mark. I have plate reader. I never measure. I measure only if there is a problem, then 0 mark. Next is the measurements. You are measuring it, it is accurate, 2 marks. I am measuring it, but the tolerances are not defined properly and they are just measuring it, they don't know how much is required, then I would give you 1 mark. And if there is a poor performance in the process, then I would give you 0 mark. So these are the marks I have assumed. Okay, I have told you to mark. I am not seeing any one of you marking your score, but just to be on a safer side, I have done it myself also. Assuming you have given a 1 mark for the men, for the operating capability of the device, but no training history. Now I am going to do an analysis of my downtime. If my person is not completely capable to handle the device and check your plate quality, how it is going to affect my defect? Is it going to give a defect? Is it going to be over processing, waiting? You can check. You can do a quick analysis of yourself. If this is not done, how it is going to affect my downtime? If the majority is in green, you are safe. If majority is in red, then you are really in a very bad condition. That means your pot has already started cracking. I've done another audit for my machine and I realized there is no calibration for my densitometer or a plate reader. I'm giving you 0 mark. What to expect from an uncalibrated, inaccurate device? Your all downtime is going to be a problem. This downtime analysis is going to be different for different printers. Every printer it will be different. You have to check whether it is going to affect your defect, is it going to influence or affect your over processing, your transportation. You can do your own analysis. And material. I found that you bought a TDS, I'm an ISO company, so you bought a TDS, MSDS, you have all the documents in place, then I'm giving you 2 marks. So when everything isn't going to be okay, all your downtime is going to be safe. Now when it comes to the process, how you're using a plate reader to check the plate quality, I realized I'm giving you 1 mark. If it is 1 mark, then which all the sections of your downtime is going to get affected? How your downtime is going to get affected? This is a very simple analysis that you can go back and do in your own factories. In fact, I have one exercise for doing maintenance also. If anybody is interested, before you go home, maybe we can do it. Next is your measurements. 0 mark. I see a lot of holes in your pot. It is going to be really dangerous now. Since it's 0, all your downtime is going to have a problem. Now let's quickly check all together. Men, I got 0 mark, it's critical. Machine is critical. That means your operator is not good. Equipment is not good. Only a plate and chemical is good. Method is not 100% accurate. And measurements, not at all accurate. So what is your performance, your plate quality measurement section now? It is critical. How much? You got only 30%. What is the passing mark? 80. 80. Now, like this, you can do an analysis for each sections of your pre-press. That is, this is one part. The entire pre-press is going to become 1 part for me. And you can do an entire analysis. Now, for the entire pre-press, I am getting 6 out of 12 mark. That is only 50%. That means your entire pre-press is leaking. It is in crisis. You have to address it immediately. Now, you can do for the entire process also. You can check for, you can do for each department and you can analyze for the entire factory. For the entire factory, even I am keeping here at 12 point, for example. That means your entire factory is leaking. Now, what do you think how your pot is going to look like? Entire factory pot. How do you think it will look like? Can you assume? This is the entire result, audit result for your process. And this is how your pot is going to look. It is so big, the hole is so big that all the stones will come with the backside. It will never fill. Because the entire performance of, I am giving for this 8 point into 5, that is 40 marks. For 40 marks, I got only 12, that is almost 30%. That means your entire factory is in a very critical condition. I understand. We put lot of resources inside the pot and with the expectation that the resources will take care of the leakages. But the resource itself is it's becoming the reason for the leakages. That is what I want to mention here. And this is the area where we really need to address this. So like I mentioned before, if you want to take your company to a future level, future different state, in this competitive market, we cannot work in the same fashion how we worked now, how we worked yesterday. We have to be very careful. And one of the best ways is to identify the waste and eliminate the waste and make your process goes smooth. And this way, with the same sales price, you can increase your profit percentage. So, please eliminate your downtime in each process, in each department and in the entire workflow, right? So, I want you to go back and kill the downtime, or else you have to go and follow the plan B. What is plan B? Following plan A. There is no choice, no option. Thank you so much.